and I'll never forget Roy. Unfortunately, passed away in a boating accident. But when I met guys like him and got to know, you know, who were the heroes and who were the villains, because in racing you've got your heroes and you've got your villains, and I always looked up to the heroes for the way they drove, and as a matter of fact, when Dale Earnhardt was in his heyday, I never really thought much of him because of the way he drove. He'd put guys into the wall, or he'd punt them out of the way, and I always thought he was a bit of a villain. But right at the very end, just not 2 minutes before he died in a crash in Daytona at the 2001, I believe it was, he sort of held back and he let his son and his teammate go for the win. And it always struck me as being so odd that Dale Earnhardt would do that. It was like a total shift in his way of doing things on the track. And suddenly he went from being the villain to being the hero. And then unfortunately he died, probably not even, 2 miles later. But going back to Roy Smith, when a friend of mine, Bud Boucher, who really is the guy that started all of this with Langley Speedway, he came to me and he started showing me pictures of the people in the grandstands.
Which you have some right now. If you could hold up while we have about 5 minutes left of this segment, you can show while you're talking.
Can't really see too much of the crowd, but the flagman in this picture is Larry Olson, and he's actually a member of our society. And Reg Royal, the fellow that donated a lot of this stuff to us, actually he still has that jacket. And he also gave Larry the flags that he's holding up. He still has the original flags from the track. And but when I found out that Roy Smith used to race at Langley Speedway, and I just live up the road in Brookswood, well, then I was hooked. That to me was like taking that ride in my uncle's race car. It just clicked, and to me that was enough. That's all I needed. That was the incentive I needed.
To relive the dream for everybody else.
To start bringing something back, because I had been down to the track before and I never knew what it was and I didn't know anything about it, and I walked around and I always thought, what a waste, what a horrible waste that this is sitting here doing nothing in the middle of nowhere, and the berry bushes were taking everything over. There was 6 feet of them down onto the track from outside the walls. The track looked about half the width that it really was.
And you've gone in there and cleaned it all up, and you've put together quite a society, and I've followed it a little bit myself. So just for the last few minutes of our time here, could you let the public know exactly, tell them your website? Is there a website? Can they sign a petition there? Or what can they do, can the public do to help bring this to maybe one day, if it ever happens, to support it coming back?
Well, our website is langleyspeedway.ca. Most of the photographs are recorded on the discussion forum, so if you click on the discussion portion, you'll go in there, and Larry Olson posts most of the photographs that we got on there, and they come from many different sources. We've been given donations of photographs like these that are originals, others that come from people that took them themselves. We've also got Jamie Fraser, Craig Fraser's daughter, the original owner of the track. She's been digging up a lot of information for us regarding the original engineer for the track. We've got original film footage from the track, the opening day when the ribbon was cut and everything.
And this is all on the webpage too?
Well, those things we're trying to transpose from the film to the electronic media, so we'll eventually get around to doing that. Yeah.
So you've got something interesting on your lap. It's interesting to see wardrobe that the race car drivers had in those days. Now, how old would that be?
This would be pre-1976, because Reg Royal, being the track promoter up to 1976, he kept a lot of this stuff, and he still has apparently the original flags, as I mentioned. And this would have been one of the jackets that the drivers would receive either for winning the race or getting in the top 3. And then, of course, a lot of them got their photographs taken in these jackets. So, of course, Castrol was a big supporter of the track, and a lot of other big companies supported activities down at the Speedway, too. I don't know if you're allowed to mention some of the breweries or not, but
that's okay. And did they wore the suits? Did they wear the suits then, the fire retardant suits that they wear, the race car suits now? Did they wear them then?
Yeah, a lot of the guys did. In the lower classes of cars, I still recall seeing some of the early 70s photographs of the guys in their T-shirts and stuff. So
I'd like to have you as a guest at another time. I really appreciate you taking the time for After Hours. As you know, this is a community channel, and without the community interest for these kind of stories, it's thankful to them that we can do this, and our cameramen and After Hours crew and everybody else to have made this happen. And anybody who's watching this show, if you have any automotive stories or anything of interest and any events to do with automotives, we'd really love to hear from you at After Hours, and you can email me at lipsticklizzie@shaw.ca for a contact, and or also you can contact this young man here at LangleySpeedway.com. And thank you again for coming and enlightening us of this situation.
I just want to remind everyone that the taxpayers own Langley Speedway.
Oh yes, so it's everybody's. So get your vote in there on the website, and maybe we can make this become a reality instead of just a dream. Thanks.
Thanks, Liz.